Does intrinsic value really exist? Use the time codes below to go to that part. You'll see my take on it. Or if you're watching this live, you can enjoy everything we do here on Good Morning Stackers. This is the second live attempt. I think we're on now. Great to see you all here. My name is Joe Main. I've worked in the precious metals industry for 11 years here in Australia. Post a comment below. Let me know that you can see me and hear me in the first minute of the show. We do the Synchronised Slurp. That's where you grab a tasty beverage and we slurp it audibly. We're going to do gold, silver, platinum analysis. We'll do some subscriber show and tell, and then we'll be talking about at some point in the show, use the time codes below, does intrinsic value really exist? My take on this, you might find interesting. So my destination couldn't be started. For which one? So am I on? Which destination am I looking at? I can see 9 people. I'm streaming on YouTube. Fantastic. Not streaming on Facebook today, but who cares? It's just Facebook. So in the first 1 minute or in the next 3 seconds, we're going to do the synchronized slurp. Here we go. Grab your tasty beverage in 3, 2. Now I'm back. I was having an audio issue for some reason and then I dropped out for a couple of minutes. That's okay. That's life. Does intrinsic value really exist? That's what we'll be asking today. I've already had a bunch of people on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum frantically typing, yes, it exists, blah, blah, blah. My take on this may be interesting, but we'll get to that in just a second. We've just done the synchronized slurp. We'll do some quick shout outs. Then we'll do gold, silver, platinum analysis. We'll blast through that. And then we'll do the the intrinsic value thing, and then we'll do some subscriber show and tell. I have a great little piece that someone sent in through Reddit out of interest. So quick shout outs. Black Hole says, no can attend today working. You attended to say that you couldn't attend. Pete repeat. Hey everyone. Joe must be attending the sick kid. He's still a little bit sick, but he pulled through quite all right. This morning, g'day CT, GMS, everyone, says Ray. Brian says, hi, everyone at work, sorry, watch later. That's okay. You wouldn't have seen all that little bit of stuff in between. You would have seen audio for about 30 seconds and then cut straight. What I love about this program is that it cuts out all the in-between stuff, so you just see a jump cut straight to it being working again. If you're watching this on the replay. If you're watching live, then you went through that other stuff. Ben Ferrugia is in the house. G'day, Ben. Ben's been a stacker for a long time. Ben's quite up there in the posting on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia group. Ben, I know, has been a customer of a bunch of bullion dealers that I've worked for before. And I will ask you, because Ferrugia is, there's lots of family. You have lots of family in the Ferrugia family, but are you related to any of the musicians? Any of the Ferrugias that are musicians, like the big musicians, the ones that are in Australia? Let me know, because I know all about the Ferrugia family in terms of the musical stuff. All good. We're back at Greg C, GMS, Hazard in the house. Boom, boom, boom. Tony's here. Synchronized slurp. You got it. You got it, girl. Ben, good. My dear. And hi, Tony. How did the sales... Yeah, tell us, how'd the sales go yesterday for Tony? She had some Germania mint stuff on sale. Joe has a rave, and you're saying hello to everyone. Fantastic. You are in. So, of course, I need to share very quickly with you the screen, because I have to quickly show you the special of the day for silver. Right here, I'll get rid of that. We are all working, and it's great to see. Don't forget, we'll be talking about, is intrinsic value really a thing? My take on this may interest you, or it may you might find it completely abhorrent. But let's share the screen right here. This is live. You are looking at the perthbullion.com.au website. This is Perth Bullion Exchange, my brand partner, my preferred bullion dealer. Today's special is on 1 gram Britannia gold bullion minted bars right there. So the 1 gram gold bars from the Royal Mint. Have you ever seen, I've never seen the, in person, I've never seen the 1 gram grammars from the Royal Mint. I love that Perth Bullion Exchange gets in this other range that you don't normally find at other bullion dealers. Plus, they're going to be getting in all that staple stuff that you know and love too. But this is their special for 24 hours only, and that is the deal. And buy over a certain quantity, and you get volume discounts. Plus, you buy over a certain amount, you get free shipping. I harp on about this, but Perth Bullion Exchange is the first bullion dealer in Australia to offer free shipping over certain quantities. They've been doing it in the States for a long time. SD Bullion, AppMex, blah, blah, blah. Spend over $300, US, and you get free shipping. We can't quite do that here in Australia. Our shipping costs are a hell of a lot more. But the first company in Australia to even offer free shipping on any kind of volume that you buy in one transaction. So that is their deal for the day. Head over to Perth Bullion Exchange as well on YouTube. So youtube.com /@ Perth Bullion Exchange, or you can just search for them. 115 subscribers right now. Give them a subscribe. You absolutely should. They do a bunch of YouTube videos every day, the specials, plus they're doing educational videos and all that sort of stuff. And the last plug, and I'll put it back to me right now because you want to see more of me. If you have a business, or if you know anyone that has a business that can benefit from launching and growing a YouTube channel, just like Bullion Now's channel, just like Perth Bullion Exchange's channel, just like any other business's channel out there, and just like Ainslie. So I did a lot of stuff. I ran Bullion Now's channel. I started and grew that. I revitalized Ainslie's channel. I'm helping out with Perth Bullion Exchange's channel as well, so they're growing as well. If you have a business, any kind of business, not just a bullion business, any kind of business, I work with other businesses as well. So I've got clients. I want more. You need some help. You might know a company that needs some help growing a YouTube channel because it's so good for a customer base to build a community. And again, any kind of business, let's explore if it works. Send me a message. That is it. So any more? Ben says, I wish, Joe, not a musical bone in my body, sadly, but we're all family here, the GMS family. You're part now of the GMS family, Ben Ferrugia. So great via PM. All right, fantastic. Let's take a look at the price of, we'll do gold because we did a little post on Gold Silver Stackers Australia forum about gold. I said right here, gold breaks 2,400. Let me share the screen, Joe. That always helps. Gold breaks 2,400, must hold 2350, breaking that 2250 USD for me as support. So that's what I'm looking at. What the hell am I talking about? I want to connect you and I want to go to you. This is gold in US dollars. We're using the tradingview.com website and it's currently 2,383 US dollars. We have been talking about this key area here of 2,400. It was a final hurdle for new all-time highs coming soon for me. That's when we were underneath 2,400. We broke above it, we closed above it, and then we did have a new all-time high. So that did occur, the final hurdle. So we have seen a new all-time high since that final hurdle was broken. It has broken down though. We wanted to see it as support. It hasn't yet. So the next level of support for me, very clearly you can see at this downtrend line or at this level of resistance. So it's coming to, it's like right on the apex of that. You can see there's a level of resistance. This is very easy stuff. Once you can see, oh, that's a clear level of resistance. That's a clear level of support, blah, blah, blah. It's very easy to see what next levels of resistance and support are, and also this trend line right here going through these 1, 2, 3, and 4 points here. So 1, 2, 3, and then we broke out, hit that 2,400 resistance level, and came back to test the support. You tend to do that after you break out. You come back and test the support. New all-time high, failed to hold. Oftentimes from a failed move is a fast move in the opposite direction. And so I would really easily see right about here as the 2350, 2353, just call it 2350 US as a key area of support. If we are continuing up in the next weeks and months ahead, you would really preferably need to see that bounce off there and then just maybe go through a range of between that 2350 and 2400. And the more times it knocks on the door, the more likely it is to be taken out. So you really want to see that hold at 2350, or look, if it's a little bit longer, anywhere on this downtrend line right there, but preferably it's going to be the 2350. Breaking through 2350, I did say that right here, if 23 doesn't hold, then key support is 2250 right there, and that's down here. I think if we break here, it's more likely that we come down to a test of 2250. Why is that? It's a Fibonacci level for me. I haven't got the Fibonacci levels drawn in, but I did put this horizontal line in after the fact. So I'm just going to keep it at 2250. Could it bounce somewhere before there and then just sail up? Yeah, of course. But for me, 2250 is a level of support. So that is the gold price. Gold in Australian dollars quickly. Australian dollars is just doing its due, 3,600 Australian dollars right now. Nothing really to say about that, except we'll look at the Australian dollar to US dollar ratio right here. You can see that the US dollar has been strengthening just recently against the AUD, but now we're at the top end of this pattern right here. So could we see some further moves if we look on the monthly time frame? Why is this pertinent to Australians? Well, you really need to, or anyone internationally, you need to float, you need to look at what your international currency is doing against the US dollar to see where potentially the price of your assets denominated in US dollars can go. Gold, silver, stocks, crypto, whatever. And that. So as this goes up, it means the US dollar is, the US dollar is, I always get this confused. Anyway, when this goes up, your value of your gold and silver goes down or flattens or even goes down in Australian dollars. What you want to see, we're talking about just gold and silver and your assets denominated. A lot of people don't want to see a weakening of the Australian dollar continuing because of other things that would happen economically. But for your gold and silver assets, you actually want to see this go down. So we've been in a long range for a very long time. We were at parity, 1-to-1 back in 2013, a big steady decline, peaks and troughs, of course, but we came down here and we tested this level right here. Will that remain as support and do we break up? I don't know, but just bear that in mind. We're just at the top end of this little area right here. That is the AUD USD. Let's go straight to silver in US dollars. Ooh, we're now under the $31 hurdle, but we haven't closed the month below it yet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We did see that peak. We were talking about yesterday how it was. Silver was looking a little bit toppy. It was looking quite toppy on the 4-hour time frame, and we'd already moved down into the extremely overbought back into the normal range. We broke down through that level right there. And on the daily time frame, we had been heading down. We'd already been in extremely overbought, and I was suggesting, a lower move could be coming. I put a support level here of $29.80 US cents. Of course, I was saying that ultimately we'd like to see 31 hold. If it didn't hold and if it closed the day, or particularly a week, but if it closed below 31, then this is much more likely. So I'm going to say for now, until it closes above $31, it could do that today on the daily time frame, but until it does, I'm going to say we are heading down to $29.80, just based on the weight of evidence. We're not above 31. We haven't closed a day above 31 yet. In the last couple of days, that is. Closing above it, okay, yeah, maybe, but if we see some more red here today, then I'm saying almost definitely $29.80 would be your next support level. Below that, we've got $28.40, but we're not near there yet. I would say most likely, a bounce, at least a bit of a bounce off $29.80. That is silver. We won't talk about the higher prices for now, except that I just do have, if you're one of the new subscribers, one of the new 13 subscribers overnight, now 259 subscribers, 244 as of yesterday, something like that. So it's 15 new subscribers, I think. Welcome to all of you. My target for this year, I will remain at between 37 to 40 US dollars is where we reasonably top out at for this year. I don't think we possibly go higher than that. Could be completely wrong though, but I'm going to stick with that for now until the weight of evidence tells me something different, until it just shoots through the moon. I'm not saying it's going to happen. So that is silver. Let's take a look at platinum in USD, and then we'll get to your comments, and then we're going to ask, is intrinsic value really a thing? And then we'll do some subscriber show and tell, and then get the hell out of here. So here we are, platinum. We'll take a look at it on the weekly. Yeah, actually, I'll take a look at it on the daily. Daily, I've been talking about this downtrend line right here. Sorry for the new subscribers, I've got to show you. And for the old subscribers, old as of 5 weeks ago, this is the 5th week of the show, people. Already at 259 subscribers. The long-term downtrend line from February of 2008 failed to hold above it for any significant period of time since February of 2021. It's now making a play for it again. I was starting to get excited after breaking through this downtrend line, but I said I would go back into not excited if we break below it. So far we have. So I have to technically tell you I'm not excited for platinum again just yet, because we have seen a break below there. I've been talking about this level, this area here of between 1,005 to 990. Hopefully we see it come down to 1,005 US dollars and then bounce off and then head back up again. If we head down to 990 and find support there, yeah, okay, great. But if we break 990, this downtrend line, we're back to the same old platinum flirting with us as it does. So the ultimate line in the sand really is 990, this downtrend line. For me personally, your levels may be different, and that's okay. And the final hurdle, just for the new subscribers, 1,115. Breaking above that and closing on a monthly time frame tells me, woohoo, baby, we are in for a ride for platinum. And then we'll talk about the prices going higher, but we're not there yet. So that is gold, silver, and platinum. Gold to silver ratio is actually bouncing from where we talked about that 75 level. Clear bounce. We talked about a potential move back up to 80 on the gold to silver ratio. So just watch that 80 level. That downtrend line to that 80 level right there. Just watch that as a potential area of resistance. So gold may outshine silver for a little bit until it hits about the 80 mark, and then let's see what happens from there. I'm hoping for a bounce down, for a rebound here and back down, because I'm mostly in silver. So I want to see that gold to silver ratio. Bloop, 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 bloop. So that is gold, silver, platinum, and the gold to silver ratio. A few comments, then let's talk about, is intrinsic value really a thing? Here we go. Have a beautiful day. Currently watching while, Ben Ferrugia says, currently watching while operating heavy machinery. Priorities on point. What do they say about operating? Don't consume alcohol. So don't drink. Have good sleep. Don't be tired. Don't be drowsy. So hopefully this show, rather than making you drowsy while operating heavy machinery, actually pumps you up. So hopefully that's what it's doing. But I'm going to say from an OH&S perspective, I don't want you to leave, Ben. But from an OH&S perspective, you need to not watch this and while operating heavy machinery. Bad idea. Go now. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm officially going to say you shouldn't be watching the show while doing that. Just like you shouldn't be driving and being on your phone and all that kind of stuff as well. Tony Peterson says, and I absolutely bloody well agree, this is becoming a lovely chat, fam. This is the point of doing this show. You get the week daily, every day on the weekdays, you get the gold, silver, platinum analysis, you get a topic, you get some subscriber show and tell, my own show and tell sometimes of my stuff. But really it's a community to gather around. You can chat amongst yourselves and you get to meet everyone and just be with like-minded people. And that's one of the main reasons why I started this. Join the GMS family by liking, sharing, and by hitting the big red subscribe button. Welcome to all the Reddit people watching as well. I've had a bunch of subscribers from Reddit, Wall Street Silver DJing Club. Great to see you guys. Alan G says, just on a well-timed break at work. Yeah, good morning. Same has I only pay attention to USD if I'm ordering for overseas. Yeah, okay, so Hazza said... Oh, okay, that was based on Hazza saying, I enjoy your analysis in AUD dollars. I do that, but because we're all USD focused, and it really does, it's harder to do because the Australian dollar floats against the US dollar, because you've got that second level of what if, and you don't know what's happening geopolitically, economically, what's going to shift that. So that's why I focus mainly on the USD spot price, because it's the world's reserve currency. But yes, I hear what you're saying. The OGs, yes. You are one of the OGs. You're one of the originals, probably one of the first 10 subscribers, I think, Tony, or maybe even the first. Sound advice, Joe. Yes, I agree about getting off your phone on operating heavy machinery. Here we go. Tony, it says intrinsic value can be partly... okay, so let me go back. So I'm going to hit a time code. Ready? Burp. Excuse me. Time code. You've hit the time code. Let's talk about, is intrinsic value really a thing? My opinion on this may shock you because I've been a stacker for 15 years, and I've been working in the bullion industry for 11 years. And we hear this around, intrinsic value. Gold has intrinsic value. It's intrinsic value, it has intrinsic value. But I took a number of years ago, I took a little bit to really just break that down and go, what does this word mean, and all this sort of stuff. So Tony quickly says, intrinsic value can be partly perception that is attributed, as well as base metal value, the design, the base metal value. Okay, so my opinion on this, it may be a bit of a, I'll get rid of this, it may be a bit of a, technically bro, intrinsic value doesn't exist because of blah, blah, blah. Right, I might be being a bit of a technical bro. So I do recognize that intrinsic value is used, it's widely used, and people recognize it. I recognize that. But I just have this little in my thing where I go, well, is it actually a thing? And I don't believe it is. It's not an actual thing. Yes, we all use it as a general vernacular. We use it in the stacking community. We all kind of know what that means, but is it really a thing? And my answer is no. And here is the reason why. So I'm going to share the screen. We've got to talk about what is intrinsic. We have to ask the question, what does intrinsic value mean? What's the meaning of it? And you can even break down the two words as well. So I'll just share the screen for a second. And we'll go to good old, and get your comments in. I really want to hear your own opinion on what you think. Does intrinsic value exist? And I want to hear your opinion after I talk about this. I am going to be a technical bro, a bit of a technically bro, but this is the fact of it, in my humble opinion. So we're going to use good old Wikipedia. Do we love Wikipedia as the most? No. Does it always have the facts? No. Is it written by other people? Yes, but so is the dictionary. So is the Oxford Dictionary, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, all that stuff. Dictionaries are written by people. So, it's the same thing. Wikipedia is written by people. But this explanation does align with the other sort of dictionary definitions. So it's not a crazy, different definition. In ethics, intrinsic value is a property of anything that is valuable on its own. Let me read that again. In ethics, intrinsic value is a property of anything that is valuable on its own. Okay, so it's unto itself. That's the basic thing of intrinsic. Intrinsic value is in contrast to instrumental value, also known as extrinsic value, which is a property of anything that derives its value from a relation to another intrinsically valuable thing. Right here, intrinsic value is always something that an object has in itself or for its own sake, and is an intrinsic property. An object with intrinsic value may be regarded as an end, or in Kantian terminology, as an end in itself. So really, it's really explained it quite well. Intrinsic value is anything that is valuable on its own. Now we've got to drill down into on its own. Well, we also have a whole bunch of things we need to think about. But so then you have to ask the question, can something have value on its own? Okay, so then you go, well, and I'll come back to this for a second. I'll come back to me. Can something, so that's the definition. Do you agree with that definition? I do. So intrinsic value is something that is value on its own for its own sake. But then you have to ask the question, well, what is value? Value is a concept. Concepts are formed by the human brain. As far as we're aware, because we haven't been able to measure it, I guess, in any kind of way, there are no other animals on the planet that value things, that have the concept of value. You could say that a dog values its owner, but does it value? Is it the concept of value, or is it because, it's getting food and getting scratched and all that? That's so value, in my humble opinion. You can disagree. Completely disagree. Value is a human concept. Nothing else is able to form concepts. We're the only animal that we know of that can form concepts, and value is a human concept. So the point is, but something that has intrinsic value is something that has value on its own. So the way I read it, that would mean if there were no humans on Earth, let's just say Earth back in however many thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands, whatever you believe is totally your business, we ended up in alternate reality. Humans never existed on Earth. Earth exists, but humans never existed on it. And so all this gold or silver or anything, but we'll just talk about gold for a second. Let's just say gold is all still in the ground. Does it have value? Because value is a human concept. Humans give things value. So therefore, can something even have value on its own? No, it can't, in my opinion. Am I going too technical with it? Am I going too philosophical with it? Yeah, possibly, but that is my opinion on it. There is no such thing as intrinsic value. Nothing, and I'm not talking about not just gold, silver, anything else in the world has no value unto itself, because value is a human concept. There needs to be humans, needs to be at least one human on the planet with the brain capacity to have the concept of value to then give that thing value. So intrinsic value is, I can't call it is it an oxymoron? I don't think that's the right phrase for it, but it's not a thing in my humble opinion. Now we do use it as a thing, so it is a thing, but it's not a real thing. Intrinsic value doesn't exist in my humble opinion from the technical perspective. So that's what I mean. Intrinsic value doesn't exist. Why again? Because intrinsic value means something that has value on its own, but nothing can have value on its own. This mug can't have value on its own. It needs a human to give it its value. If there were no humans on the earth, it has no value. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's why something cannot have value on its own. And that's the point. That's the little sticking point right here, is value on its own. Even those four words together are an oxymoron. And I'm probably not using the right phrase here. And I'll get to all your comments because I think it's going to be a lively discussion, and I love it. Here at Good Morning Stackers, big red subscribe button. But value on its own are two separate things. You've got value and on its own. You can't put them together. They are separate. You can't have value and then on its own together like that, because if it's on its own, there's no human being to give it its value. Make sense? Okay, I think that makes sense to me. That is my humble opinion of why intrinsic value does not exist. Am I being a technically bro? Yeah, maybe. But I do recognize that because we're humans, we have our own thoughts, and it's a vernacular within the stacking community, and you can call anything, oh, that has an intrinsic value. We know what it means to us, but technically it's not a thing. So you can say this silver coin has value, and has value because we give it its value, but it doesn't have intrinsic value. This particular coin doesn't have intrinsic value. If I threw this into the desert and it was never found ever again in history, in common history, it has no value because there's no human. Although technically someone might value, this particular coin itself. But you hear what I'm saying. No such thing as intrinsic value. Do you disagree? Post a comment below and we'll talk about it right now. Let's give a synchronized slurp to great discussion about sometimes things that don't particularly matter. It doesn't really matter. Does intrinsic value exist or doesn't it exist? And does it really matter at the end of the day? No, probably not, but I'm just being technical about it. It does not exist. And that's me coming from Stacker working in the bullion industry, right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. We're going to go to intrinsic value, or maybe you didn't care and you were just talking about it amongst yourselves, and that's okay. Supply. Pete repeats, says supply and demand has a lot to do with it. No, it doesn't, because it's not a thing. I love this. Good point, Pete. The American silver equal price in USA. Okay, you're talking about different stuff. You might have just been talking amongst yourselves, and that's okay. A dragon coin is worth more than a Kanga from the mint value, even though they're both 1 ounce same metal. A dragon is worth more due to its design, but nothing to do with intrinsic value. Alan G says, yes, I have. I feel like I've heard you talk about this before. Yes, I have. I did that on another Bullion Dealers thing, but this is my channel, and I decided to do it again. But because my subscribers, not everyone's heard it, but because you were subscribing to that other channel, you saw that live show, you heard me do it. So I feel like you've heard about talk this before. Yes, I have. I am inclined to think that if it benefits somebody, including it has value, intrinsic or otherwise. Well, value, yes. Intrinsic, meaning unto itself, no. So I am being a technical bro. But intrinsic value, value exists. It's a human concept. Intrinsic value does not exist. It can't logically exist. It's not that you can't see it. It doesn't logic. It's like saying there is such thing as a square circle. There's no such thing as a square circle. You can't draw a square circle. It's not a thing. It's not logical. Even as much practice as you try to draw a square circle, you can't, because it's illogical. You can't do it. So intrinsic value, it's illogical. It doesn't exist. Right here, low mintage. You're talking about other stuff. CT says synchronized slurp tonight is Texas whiskey. Dang. Correct, Alan. Yeah, it's not deja vu. Yeah, you and Alan had seen it on the other channel, but that was like last year at some point. But rediscussed for new members to the channel. Exactly right. Ben Ferrugia. I think supply and demand plays a bigger role. I think supply and demand plays a bigger role than perceived value. Well, perceived value is different to intrinsic value. Again, intrinsic means on its own, and nothing can have value on its own because value is a human concept. I'm just beating a dead horse here. And you synchronized Slurp as well. Fantastic. So I've talked about is intrinsic value. Oh, here we go. Tony says, true, Ben. When you think back at some supply issues in recent times, the premium shot up even though spot was stable. Yes. So people, buyers, stackers valued silver higher because the premiums went up and still people continued to buy. So when you had supply issues, we saw that supply go down, so we valued the silver more. We were trying to buy up more of it, and then the bullion dealers had to go, wow, I don't want to run out of my stock all in one day, so I've got to raise my premiums in order to slow the flow out of the bullion dealers. That's supply and demand in a nutshell right there. So we had that value, but it's not intrinsic value. This is always such an interesting discussion. Thanks for having it again here. You are welcome. Have I convinced any of you? Let me just post a comment below. I'll give 15, 30 seconds or so. Have I convinced you that intrinsic value doesn't exist? Value exists, duh, of course, because we're humans. We value things. I value all of you, right? But intrinsic value is not a thing. Can we all at least agree from a logical perspective that intrinsic value does not exist? It's got to be a yes. I'm surely I've made the case that intrinsic value doesn't exist. So post your comments below, and then we're going to do some subscriber show and tell here on Good Morning Stackers. Hit the big red subscribe button, like, share, subscribe. Welcome to all of you, 200, probably 260 something subscribers now, because we've had a bunch of subscribers since we've started doing the show, I'm sure. So we're going to do some subscriber show and tell. Let's do that right now. Subscriber show and tell while the comments are coming in about do you agree that intrinsic value, now that I've explained it, do you agree with me that intrinsic value doesn't exist? But we're going to do some subscriber show and tell. I have to show the screen right here. I need to get this thing up. Oh, okay. Let me do this really quickly. I've got to get that. I've got to put that over here. Let me do that. Yeah, that goes there. Wackadoo. Loving your work, Joe. And I'll find out who this came from again. This was from someone on Reddit, actually. And their name is Dolphin Drew. So Dolphin Drew, D-O-L-F-A-N. This is from Dolphin Drew on Reddit right here. And I'll show you their little message. Not on Reddit itself, but I do have a little screenshot of it. So here we go. This is from Dolphin Drew on Reddit. And I think this came through one of the forums. It'll be Wall Street Silver or Silver DGen Club, but they messaged me through there at Good Morning Stackers on Reddit. a show and tell for YouTube, and I'll show you the picture in a sec. This is one of my favorite from my collection, a 1909 to 1911 minted Chinese dragon dollar. It's the only example of one with a double die strike that I've seen. Whoa. Look at this, people. This is awesome. So this is, once again, a 1909 to 1911 Chinese dragon dollar with a double strike. How rare is this? I really want to know. Post your comments below. What do you think? Thank you, Dolphin Drew, Dolfan Drew from Reddit. Look at this, 1909 to 1911. This is just amazing. That is so good. Man, when you think that side looks good, then you see now this would be that would be the reverse, and this would be the obverse, because that has all the particular details. Look at this. Oh man. And dang. Okay, so that is on its side. You're gonna have to tilt your heads, people. So if you tilt your heads like this, because I can't realign it like this, you can see if you tilt your heads one way, you'll see it's the dragon looking directly at you. This is just an amazing coin. Look, is this the thumbnail? There we go. Hugh Penn province, something like that. This is just amazing. So 1909, 1911 Chinese dragon dollar double die strike. That's just absolutely amazing. So I'd like to say thank you to Dolphin Drew for sending that in. Absolutely wicked piece of subscriber show and tell. If you have your own subscriber show and tell, send it in to gmstackers@gmail.com, gmstackers@gmail.com. Tilt the phone. I'm not on my phone. I'm on my... That wouldn't work. If I tilt the thing, it doesn't work like that. It's not the phone, because I've got a webcam. So if I would tilt it, if I tilted it, here we go. If I tilted the camera, this is what would happen. And this is your thumbnail. That's what would happen if I tilted it like that. So that is your show for today. We have done gold, silver, platinum analysis. We have talked about, is intrinsic value a real thing? No, it's not. And I've made the case for it. And I think it's okay for you guys to all admit that it doesn't, because it doesn't mean anything. We still have value and perceived value. Then we'll do some last kind of topics. Right here, Tony Peterson says, intrinsic value doesn't exist. Thank you, Tony. It is perceived value attributed to it. Of course, yes, perceived value. Value is perceived. Value is subjective, so it's perceived value. Yes, so value is perceived, correct, from the individual. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Peter says, yes, provided there are no people on Earth. Do you agree? But with billions here, no. So it's a logical fallacy there. So something like that, I think, because intrinsic means on its own. So it's just logically, it's like, again, like a square circle. You can't have a square circle. So you can't, I love your work, Pete, but I'm just pushing back on it, saying that it can't logically be a thing. So it can't really be argued with, because it's not dependent on anything else. Yes, provided there are no people, but with billions of people, but intrinsic means on its own. So no, you can't have intrinsic value, but I'm just being too technical, bro. It's probably quite annoying to people, but that's okay. Alan G says, maybe going off topic here, but I always find it interesting when people criticize Bitcoin because you can't hold it in your hands. I am not convinced it really matters so long as there is utility. What a great point. And I think this is one of the reasons why people may push back on, no, there is intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is a thing, because they would come back and say, well, because Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. Well, I've challenged that, and I think I've completely logically proven there is no such thing as intrinsic value. It can't be a thing. Therefore, it does open the door, and some people don't like this, and that's okay. It opens the door to Bitcoin being a thing that they could look into. And, I've been in crypto for a number of years, since 2013, actually. A lot of you know that. Some of you don't. Don't hold it against me. I've been in crypto since 2013 as well. I bought my first Bitcoin. Doesn't mean I'm rich. It just means I bought my first Bitcoin in 2013 at 128 Australian dollars per Bitcoin. I only bought 2 of them because my boss was into it and he said, I'll send you a couple of Bitcoin, send me a bit of money. I did that. And then that got me down the rabbit hole. Am I rich off it? No. But, maybe one day, you never know. But with my stack, my precious metal stack and some crypto as well, hey, skies could be the limit later on down the track. So, but that's the thing. Yes, you are correct. I do find it interesting when people criticize Bitcoin because you can't hold it in your hands. Yes, it doesn't have intrinsic value. Well, intrinsic value doesn't exist. So what do you think about that? Tony Peterson, wow, never seen one before. Yes, to the Chinese dragon one. Yep, that is super cool. I absolutely tilt the laptop. That's there you go. Yes, I get what you're saying. All good. I know I'm being an annoying technical bro about it, but I just wanted to make that point. When anyone says intrinsic value, we all know what they're talking about. We know what it means and we get it and we go, yep, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yep, but it really is perceived value, not intrinsic. Tony Pearson, this might be the last comment. I missed the Bitcoin train, Alan. I wasn't sure I'd know the right station to get off at. Yeah, that was a big one for many people, including myself. I've missed cycles. I've missed them. I'm happy to admit it too. Before it came to the bridge that was out. Fair point. That is it, my lovely people. You have been watching. Good morning, stackers. Little glitch at the start, but we got through there. We did gold, silver, platinum analysis. We did is intrinsic value a real thing? No, it's not. And we did subscriber shout out. Send me an email, gmstackers@gmail.com, if you have your own show and tell you want me to put there. I've got another one for tomorrow. So they're steadily coming in, but send me some more. I need them. Let's get one last synchronized slurp in and you can get on with your day because you've got stuff to do and so do I. Once again, my name is Joe Main. Let's do a synchronized slurp in 3, 2. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye, everyone. Stay safe, stay informed. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep stacking and have an amazing day.